Welcome to Bike World, welcome to the launch of BMW's M1000 XR, a completely barking motorcycle, clearly the fastest way to get from A to B with 200 horsepower. Now there's no real reason for this bike to exist, but I'm just glad that BMW did it. And today we're going to test it in southern Spain on some amazing roads. I'm going to wobble about to the front on my M1000 XR. That's right, M1000 XR. 200 horsepower, sports, touring, crossover, call it what you want. It's got 200 horsepower. It's got the M package, it's got carbon wings. It's in this spec, just shy of 28,000 I think. Bonkers, it's balmy, there's no need for it whatsoever. But thankfully BMW have done it, thankfully they're letting us have a go. So I've kind of got it in the race dash just because I kind of like it, no reason apart from that. And I've got it in the Race Pro 1 so I can play about with the rider aids and traction. I've got the anti-wheelie switched off for obvious reasons. I've really turned down the TC. Full power, but it's not aggressive full power, even though it's 200 brake horsepower. That sounds stupid in itself, I know. Just to confirm, this is not a holiday. I know the sun is shining, I know I'm in a deck chair drinking beer, and I know I've just ridden a 200 horsepower M Sport XR, but it's not a holiday, Chris. I'm really sorry. But what a day. It's not very often you get to ride these type of special bikes, and we've had the perfect backdrop today here in Malaga. The weather has been perfect. But what a bike. It's a little intimidating, I'll be honest. It's quite big and it's quite brutal and it's quite raw. I think that's the best way to describe it. Just had a little coffee, kind of reconfigured what I'm doing. It's strange because it's got the horsepower of a superbike, yet when you ride a superbike on the road, that feels a little intimidating, but this feels kind of more intimidating. Maybe because it's so barking. Loads of wings, loads of downforce, lots of carbon fibre. This has got every box ticked and is nearly £28,000. But let's push that to one side. Let's forget about price because it is actually cheaper than the competition, which comes from Ducati with their Multistrada RS. But what a fast bike. I don't know if it'll stand up in court, but this should come with some kind of health warning. It's ridiculously fast. Now, most of the GoPro footage that you're going to see is pretty legal and pretty tame because I had to delete about 50% of it. Because if you stretch the cable on this bike, it easily goes to 250, 260 kilometers on the freeway without even thinking about it, and it'll pull even more. It almost reminds me of a modern day Hayabusa. Like back in the late 90s when I first rode a Hayabusa, I got on it and just was like, holy Christ, that's fast. And that's what you do with this. And you only got to tickle it. And like where 200 horsepower feels fast on a superbike, because you're hunched over the thing, and you expect that when you ride a superbike because you're in race levers and you're all crouched in. But on this is blistering really fast and you're wearing jacket and jeans and you've got an adjustable screen and heated grips and cruise control, and you're actually comfortable. Also when you're cornering, you're sat really high up. You're quite a long way from the ground when you're trying to get to kind of knee down levels of lean. It's kind of, I was a little unsure how to ride it, because if you ride it aggressively on the throttle, it's got so much power, it'll lift and wheelie and want to slide. It is a bit of an animal when you want it to be. It's really got kind of like a split personality, because on one side you can ride it around town in the road mode and it's really easy. It's not a race bike that's all peaky. It's very soft, it's very manageable. It's almost not entry level, but it's easy to ride. And then there's the flip side of it. You can give it to Chris and he can go absolutely banzai around his home in Wales, enjoy 200 horsepower, turn off the traction, turn off the anti-wheelie like I did today. And it's just crazy. But it's crazy in a still comfort way. It's kind of difficult to get my head around it. In the standard road mode, which is what I started with, you have electronic suspension. The electronic suspension does compression and rebound front and rear. Preload is manually adjustable, unlike the standard XR where everything is semi-active. The reason for that is when you take this bike to the racetrack, you can change the preload manually. We definitely need another bite of this apple because the roads here in Malaga are good, but there's a few occasions where they've been a bit slippery. The Bridgestones haven't been able to bite because it's quite dusty in places. The traction's been doing more work than the throttle. These roads are not complementing this bike.
all these little ribbons of black are slippery. I just haven't got the... Every time you hit them you get like a little slide. It is not pleasant.
So I want to get the bike somewhere else. Hickey rode this at the Isle of Man last year and I am so envious. I spoke to him via text and he was saying how great it was, and I love the TT and I would love to ride this over the mountain. That is its natural habitat. Fourth, fifth gear, full gas, giving it big beans. So hopefully we can visit this bike again. Hopefully maybe we can get the competition together. I mean, that would be awesome. But if you want just the fastest bike from A to B, I'm struggling to think of a bike that's faster and this comfortable. Okay, you can't fit hard luggage to it, but who cares? Send it in the post. If you just want to get across Europe or from Land's End to Scotland as fast as possible, that's probably going to be it. But just a little word of warning. If you do buy it, you might have to just take your license to the local police and just submit it now, because that just makes you do things you probably shouldn't.
Absolutely barking. It is a superbike. It's a superbike on stilts. It's, use every cliche that you want. It is bonkers. Completely and utterly bonkers.